Years of leaked documents show the Department of Homeland Security may be working with tech platforms to allegedly police what it believes is disinformation. That's according to a recent report from The Intercept. The documents were obtained through leaks, public documents, and an ongoing lawsuit by Missouri Attorney General Eric Schmidt. The Intercept first reported the documents on Monday.
I'd say this is a clear violation of the First Amendment. The First Amendment, among other things, protects against companies being compelled to act in service of government agencies, which is exactly what's going on here with the Department of Homeland Security. Also, I mean, not even to mention the freedom of speech of people who are speaking on various online outlets.
Alexander Haberbusch, a constitutional attorney, says the companies at the very least may be running afoul of state actor doctrine. That means they must respect things like the First Amendment. He added that the censorship is both frightening and unprecedented.
In preparation for this, I've tried to come up with any kind of close comparison that I can find in U.S. history. There is none. You have to look at the history of the Soviet Union or of Nazi Germany to see this kind of curtailment of free speech that's been contemplated in this action from the government.
Earlier this year, the DHS announced the Disinformation Governance Board. Haberbusch cited other examples of government influence on social media, including the National Security Council.
In a 2021 statement excerpted from NSC on National Strategy for Countering Domestic Terrorism, they said that these efforts speak to a broader priority, quote, enhancing public faith in government. So they are saying explicitly the reason for these curtailments of free speech and to control information published on social media platforms is because they want to enhance public faith in government. That is very dangerous, because what that means is that pro-government speech is acceptable.
The documents showed the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, which is part of the DHS, policed misinformation, disinformation, and something they call malinformation.
The way they define that is factual information shared typically out of context with harmful intent. That's factual information that they're suppressing. So the government wants not only to control the content of what is spoken, they want to make sure they're controlling all the connotations too. It's literally an effort to control competing narratives.
Despite disbanding the controversial Disinformation Governance Board, The Intercept reports that the DHS is still working to police the spread of information. The focus is allegedly on a range of topics, including COVID-19, vaccines, racial issues, the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan, and Ukrainian aid. Emails between officials at the DHS, the Center of Internet Security, and Twitter described how content should be removed leading up to the 2020 election. Meeting notes read, social media companies will process reports and will provide timely responses to include the removal of reported misinformation from the platform where possible. A spokesperson for Twitter wrote in a statement to The Intercept, "We do not coordinate with other entities when making content moderation decisions, and we independently evaluate content in line with Twitter rules." In June, Twitter head of legal policy, trust, and safety Vijaya Gadde partnered in drafting a report to CISA. The report called on the agency to shape the, quote, information ecosystem. Gadde was terminated from Twitter last Thursday following Elon Musk's acquisition of the company.
What concerns me more is people who are using social media companies to express their own views and who may have those views censored or suppressed as a result of basically what the government is directing these companies to do. If that is indeed government direction, and these documents certainly make it look like it is, well, that's state actor. The companies are then acting as a state actor. They can't do that. They're subject to free speech protections.
Though at least one lawsuit is underway, Haberbusch said there would need to be legal precedent first for a class action lawsuit.
Currently, there is not a private right of action for the sort of discriminatory actions that are being contemplated here. However, if it does turn out that we get solid precedent down the road saying that social media companies are acting as state actors, there would absolutely be a private cause of action, because that'd be the same as the government trying to prohibit free speech.
Haberbusch added that Justice Clarence Thomas intimated about treating social media companies as common carriers, which would require those services to uphold free speech laws. Daniel Hall, NTD News, California.